Coventry University have entered the nationwide campaign, the Brit 2021 Challenge, which is the British Inspiration Trust. They support young adult mental health in the UK. Now what we aim to do is raise £2,021 for young mental health charities in our hashtag CUBrit2021 Challenge. We want to record 2,021 people competing in activities with 20,210 miles reached through all participants. Now for a chance to win £100 for your sport club and a Fitbit Inspire 2 for yourself, all you have to do is number 1, join the Sport Coventry Strava Club. Number 2, complete a distance of any movement, any distance, any speed. However, it has to be a run, otherwise it won't show up in our group. You have to put the sport club that you are pledging your movement to in the name of your activity, and then make sure you complete your movement before the end of Saturday the 20th of March. And lastly, vote in the CUSU spring elections. You can also donate to the Brit 2021 Challenge for Young Mental Health by visiting the website in the description. And now for an interview with Karate.
Hello everyone, you're listening to the 2021 CUSU 24-hour broadcast for the elections. Today I'm joined by Katie and Thomas from Karate. Katie and Thomas, could you please introduce yourself a bit?
Yeah, I'm Katie, I'm Vice President this year. Been doing karate since I was 7. Yes, loads of fun, really enjoying being Vice President this year.
Wow.
Cool. And I'm Tom. I am the president of Coventry University Karate Club. I've been training karate since I was 8 years old. So I'm now 21, so that will be 13 years. Worked my way up to 3rd Dan black belt, and
Oh wow.
yeah, kind of got myself into a position of being president. So that's kind of just a little bit of background on me, really.
So you both mentioned that you started karate like really young. What was it that drew you to the sport?
Okay.
Mainly the self-defense side, I guess. I was being bullied at school, just wanted some more confidence. Yeah, just really enjoyed everything about it, the fitness, the just confidence it gave me, really.
Yeah, and I guess for me, it would probably be my dad actually did karate when he was that kind of age as well. So he started when he was 8, just out of just doing a local sport kind of thing.
Oh wow.
And he kind of promoted it. But he finished when he was around the age of 18 himself, as in like he stopped because of work. He had other commitments and stuff. So he definitely wanted me to at least try it. So I got into it at that kind of similar age of 8, and then I've just not stopped. So I'm just gonna keep pushing with it, really. But yeah.
Yeah, well, you've both been going for so long. I guess my next question is, how are you managing to keep going currently during lockdown and everything?
So we do 3 sessions a week, obviously all online training, trying to keep people motivated. Yeah, but I think everyone's really enjoying it. It just gives us something to do in the evening, doing lots of fitness stuff. Obviously, as gyms are closed.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I guess we're just trying to. I mean, everyone's finding it tough with all the lockdown and kind of that kind of impact on everyone. But I think, as Katie's mentioned, we're just trying to keep the morale up, keep people's motivations up. I think a lot of people are kind of have taken this opportunity to kind of just kind of slump a bit. And I think people that have tried to get on board with karate this year have definitely got that kind of mindset that they do want to kind of better themselves and not use this as a time for just kind of relaxing as such, but more like a chance to kind of develop themselves individually. So I think that's kind of the motivation for keeping it going, even in this current climate, I suppose.
Come back stronger when everyone's allowed outside.
Indeed.
At the edge of the competition. That's a really good mindset.
Indeed.
So, again, you've both been doing karate for so long. Do you have a particular favorite memory, either from university, as part of the club, or by yourself?
I think for me would have to be the books weekend we have in February. Just the fact that we get to spend the whole weekend as a club watching each other compete and supporting each other, as well as the social aspect of it, just getting to know each other more. Just really enjoy spending time with my karate family.
So that's really good for team building and away weekend.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'd echo that for Katie as well, to be honest. I think a lot of the time, especially when you've got new members that have started in September, you can put socials on and things like that. But I think it's the books weekend, which happens obviously around February time, is when people really start to unite as a family, I suppose, from a karate perspective, because everyone's, you're on top of each other for a whole weekend, constantly all training together, supporting each other, and everyone learns a bit more about each other. So I think that's definitely the highlight each year, to be honest. It's always the books weekend. Obviously, we've not been able to do that this year because of COVID, obviously. But I think we've still tried to make the club in such a way that we can have that kind of interaction still. We've been doing our regular socials, just trying to keep people, it's not all about the sport, it's also about the actual kind of the teamwork and the kind of spending time together as a team, even if that's just a standard teams call in the afternoon, just chatting to people, seeing what's going on, just having a bit of fun. We've been doing some online pub quizzes and stuff like that. So yeah, we've just generally trying to maintain that memory as much as we can, but we obviously hope that books will return next year. So yeah, that's probably the favourite memory, really.
Sounds like you've got a lot on currently in the club as well, which actually leads me quite nicely onto my next question, which is during these times, it's sort of unprecedented. Everyone's sort of by themselves. I know the student union has a big focus on mental health. How is it that you guys are managing to kind of keep a positive outlook or keep your spirits up as everything's going on?
I guess we do this thing where if someone doesn't turn up to training, we always send them a message, make sure they're okay. Obviously, we're not pushing people to train. Just the main thing is mental health this year. We just want people to be okay. And if they're not, we chat to them. Just try and keep everyone involved.
Yeah, I mean, again, just echoing what Katie said, I think we've tried to make sure that no one's left out, I suppose, and people that aren't, as Katie said, maybe attended training that have been, just checking in, really. I think that's the main thing, just giving people a platform and opportunity to open up if they need to. Obviously, we're by no means qualified to necessarily, counsel people, but I think sometimes it's just about having someone there just for people to chat to, whether they want to talk about anything positive or negative. I think it's just providing that kind of friendly face for people to actually want to see and, be uplifted by, I suppose, really. But yeah.
And have either of you been in the position where you're the one that someone has had to reach out to, or had a particularly miserable week or so? Or have you managed to keep the momentum?
I think personally, the end of last semester was hard for me. But I know a lot of karate people reached out, which is really nice. Just knowing that they're actual proper friends instead of just teammates, I guess. It was really nice.
Sounds like you have a really...
Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, it sounds like you have a really lovely karate community and a really good support base from the club.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I guess from my perspective, I've not necessarily been the one to kind of be affected as personally, I suppose, by mental health stuff. But at the same time, I'm very wary of the fact that it is existing. Everyone's got kind of different backgrounds and different things going on in their own time. So for me, it's just about being there for those people and just making sure that they are okay, really. But personally, I haven't actually experienced anything that has negatively impacted me personally, I suppose. But yeah.
Well, that's quite lucky. I know I personally have been in both of the situations, and I imagine a lot of people have been.
Yep.
So this brings me on to my last question for today. What would you say is the best martial arts movie out there?
Go on, Katie. I mean, I'll go first. So, Karate Kid, obviously.
Classic.
I mean, I'm personally a fan of the new one, not the old one. The one with Jaden Smith, I quite like that one. Yeah, I mean, I've got no preference. Not really a movie watcher, to be honest. But, obviously saw that when it came out. One thing I don't agree with is the fact that it's called Karate Kid, but it's all based around Kung Fu. It's a bit of a kick in the teeth for anyone that practices karate. But anyway, we won't go into that.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned it, because the Karate Kid actually put me off learning karate a little bit. Just from a fear that, someone teaches you all this karate stuff, and in the end, all you're good for is painting a fence or washing a car, like flips it on you.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing to point out about karate is it's not all about aggression, and it's not all about fighting. I think one thing that I've learned from it, I mean, because I wouldn't say I was an aggressive person or anything, but it's definitely taught me about controlling emotions, I suppose. I think a lot of the time people can get worked up in situations, but it's all about kind of having that kind of mental discipline to kind of understand what the situation is and turn it into kind of a positive, I suppose. I mean, I mentioned that word discipline. That's a key thing for us in karate, is the idea that, you're very kind of focused, I suppose, in any kind of challenge you do. And I think doing karate has kind of taught me that over the years, is that, I mean, even now, I mean, I'm in the process of applying for jobs, for graduate jobs. And I think having the time to actually, I suppose, just think about what's going on and actually like focusing my mindset in the right way to make sure that I do well in kind of job interviews and stuff is something that karate's taught me through the whole discipline kind of aspect. So I think it's just doing karate has actually taught me a whole lot more than just how to competitively fight, I suppose. So yeah.
The mental aspect as well as the physical.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously it's hard. It's not I mean, depends what kind of part you do, because obviously the sport's split up for all kinds of different people. We've got like sequencing moves, which we call kata, and then we've also got kumite, which is the sparring, fighting stuff. And not everyone likes kata, not everyone likes kumite, but it's up to you to kind of find your niche within there. I mean, when we go to the Bucks weekend, we have different kind of opportunities for different people to compete each year, and you don't have to do both categories. You can just pick one and that be your focus. And some people are great at one and not great at the other, but that doesn't mean that they're any less in terms of their level of karate ability, So yeah. I think it's just giving people the opportunity for different kind of different kind of sports and different kind of exercises, and it's not all just aggression and smacking the life out of each other. It's all about control, really, and just knowing what your niche is and kind of focusing on that, I suppose.
So I'm getting a little off topic here, but which type of karate do you guys do?
Okay.
Some more kata based, like sequences. I like, I don't know, the precision of it, like mastering, well, not mastering obviously, but getting pretty good at like a sequence, being able to perform competitions, and knowing that my moves are, I guess, correct, whereas the fighting is more fluid and obviously dependent on the person you're fighting.
Yeah,
no, that's a fair point. I mean, I was always brought up because as I say, I'm not really an aggressive person. So for me, hearing the idea of fighting someone kind of is just like, or was back in the day, was just a bit daunting, I suppose. So for me, it was always focusing on kata, which is obviously the sequencing stuff, but it's all about making the moves clean and making sure that you're doing the sequence in the correct order in the correct way to get the points in the competition. But then as kind of, I obviously doing karate for such a long time, I kind of have developed into wanting to do the fighting part of it as well, just because it's something completely different and it's a fresh challenge. And I think a lot of people will just kind of frown away from a fight, but if you're properly prepared, you'd be surprised how well you can do. I mean, first fight that I went into, I lost, and I was a second dan black belt at that time. So just because I was a black belt doesn't mean I'm a great fighter either. Do you know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, it's all about practice, and obviously that practice makes perfect. So if you fancy a new challenge and you want something to kind of boost you in terms of, you know, endorphins and feeling like you've done something great, then I definitely say just challenging yourself is the best way to do that. And I think switching between both different styles of karate is key in actually kind of pushing yourself. So yeah, so that's my thought on it anyway.
Thank you. Katie, I just realised that I'd never heard your favourite martial art movie. Do you have one, or are they not your scene?
Again, I like the Karate Kid, but I agree with Tom, it's Kung Fu, it's not karate, so bit of a sore point there. I know, yes, anything where someone gets, which is really unrealistic, is just funny.
I can't disagree with you on that one. So do you have any projects or anything that you guys are involved in that you'd like to tell us about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're doing basically this month, because obviously mental health is so prevalent at the moment, as we've kind of discussed already. We want to kind of play our part in the Brit 2021 challenge. So obviously that's the kind of focus for sport commentary at the moment on that is running and cycling and achieving, I think it's 20,210 miles for each sport. But I guess that's not something is a focus of karate. So we've decided to introduce our own little challenge of doing 31,000 punches, 31,000 blocks, and 31,000 kicks throughout the month of March. So that's like 1,000 of each per day, if you like. But basically, that's what we're currently in the middle of doing. And we are raising money for the same charities that the Brit 2021 focuses on. Obviously, all surrounding this idea of promotion of mental health awareness, and just generally making sure that, you know, we want to promote the idea that is encourage sport, I suppose, and that sport is a good way of kind of is a good coping mechanism, I suppose. So our way of doing that is by setting ourselves this challenge of doing that many punches, that many blocks, and that many kicks throughout the month of March, in the hope that we can hopefully raise some money towards the foundations that the Brit 2021 are working for. So yeah,
That sounds really good. To be honest, I might join in with you guys, but I'd have to do 4,000 today of each just to catch up.
Indeed. No, we're trying to get as many in as we can. I mean, just because we've set the target of 31,000 doesn't mean we're stopping there. If we can get more, we will.
Great attitude. Always going that little bit further.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for joining me. I've personally very much enjoyed this conversation, and I've learned a lot about karate that I didn't know. And I also didn't know that the Karate Kid was about kung fu, but it has been a while since I watched it.
Stop rubbing salt.
All I'll say now is make sure to vote in the elections. Make sure to log all your steps and runs and cycles on Strava in the CUSU Brit 2021 challenge. If you put your sport in the title of your activity, the sport with the most miles will win something, to be decided yet. Thank you so much for listening.